So today, I'm going to be doing the iodine clock reaction. There are many different versions of the iodine clock reaction, but this is probably the most simplest one that you can do at home. It will use distilled water, iodine tincture, hydrogen peroxide, ascorbic acid. Ascorbic acid is pure vitamin C, so if you can't find pure ascorbic acid, then just use 1,000 milligram tablets and just dissolve them in some water and then filter it. If you can't find 1,000 milligram tablets, then just use 4 500 milligram tablets and cornstarch. So I'll be making two solutions. Solution A will contain the ascorbic acid, iodine tincture, and the distilled water. And for solution B, we'll use cornstarch, distilled water, and hydrogen peroxide. So this is going to be everything that we'll need for it, and we can get started now. So I'll start by adding a little bit of cornstarch into a fairly large beaker. After this, I'll dump in 350 milliliters of boiling distilled water. If you don't want to pre-boil it, you can also just add the distilled water directly and then just boil it in the microwave or something. But I just decided to pre-boil it, but it doesn't matter. Now, I'll try and dissolve as much of the cornstarch as possible. Most of it probably won't dissolve at all, but a small amount of it will. After I felt like I had dissolved enough cornstarch, I'll pour it through a few coffee filters to get rid of the undissolved stuff. This is going to take a little bit of time to filter. In the meantime, I think I'll just start working on solution A. So to start solution A, I'll get a scale and I'll have to measure out 2 grams of ascorbic acid. It took a little bit of time to measure out the 2 grams, but when I was eventually done, I dumped it all into a beaker and I'll have to dissolve it in 60 milliliters of distilled water. The next thing that we need is the iodine tincture, which you'll notice in the video is very darkly colored. In the description, I'll put a link to a video that I did about the iodine in the ascorbic acid, just to show exactly what's going on. So to finish solution A, I'll just top things off to the 500 ml mark with distilled water. Alright, so that's it for solution A, and we can move back to making solution B. By now it's completely filtered, and we can continue. To finish it off, it's just like solution A, where we just top it off to 500 milliliters with 3% hydrogen peroxide instead of distilled water this time. Now solution A and B are complete, and we can move on to the actual reaction. I set an aluminum tray because I didn't really want it to spill everywhere. So now I'll get solution B as well as solution A, and I'll pour most of solution B into 2 smaller beakers. This is because I'm going to be mixing the 2 solutions in the same beaker, and I don't really want them to overflow, like I said before, but whatever. After I poured out most of it, I didn't really feel like I need the 3rd beaker, so I just took all 3 of the beakers away. And the next thing that I'll get is the big beaker, and
I'll pour in what looks like the same amount that I poured out into the other smaller beakers, leaving behind what looks like the same amount in the other beaker. Okay, now with the 2 beakers ready, now I just have to mix them together. At first, it doesn't really look like anything's happening, but they are actually reacting the moment they touch. This is because the ascorbic acid and the hydrogen peroxide are trying to react with the iodine to change its color. Like we saw before, the ascorbic acid changes the iodine color to colorless, but the hydrogen peroxide wants to oxidize it back to I2, or iodine. But the peroxide will eventually be able to consume all of the ascorbic acid, so it's free to immediately just turn the iodine back to its colored form. When it changes color and it doesn't really look brown, it's because the starch is reacting with it to change it to more of a bluey green color. This is taking actually a really long time, and I don't know why, but just wait. That's it. It's supposed to change all at the same time, but it looked like the top changed before the bottom. So the whole point of this video was to just explore some home experiments that might be fun for someone to do. It was just a matter of exploring all these different experiments that you might be able to do at home, and I'm hopefully going to be posting more like this. I think the iodine clock reaction is a really fun experiment, and it just has an amazing effect. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you when I post the next video like this.